If you're tired of those pesky farm killers coming around and killing your gatherers, then this is the video for you. In this video, I show you how to set a perfect trap and do massive damage to those farm killers, so stick around. What is going on, everybody? Look, every now and then you're just sitting around trying to put a video together for YouTube about Rise of Kingdoms when a little pesky farm killer shows up and tries to do some damage to your gatherers. Well, in this case, this farm killer came out with not one, not two, but three T5 cavalry marches, but I was prepared. And you'll see in this video that I'm going to show, and I'm going to do a little voiceover, explain what's going on. I was really getting set up to put a video together when this all started happening, and so I'm trying to get my camera effects set up correctly so that I can record all of this while it's going on. And the next thing I know, I have to restart the game, and then when I get back into the game, the farm killer is right on top of my gatherer. But it's a trap gatherer march. All of my marches were trap gatherer marches, and you'll see that we did a lot of damage. So I'm going to explain all of that here in a minute. So take a look at this recording. I'm going to do a little voiceover to explain what was going on while it was happening. I'm going to talk about a little bit about some technique called rage jumping that I employed in this little tactical sequence here that you can use for your own fights to get better trades. And at the end of it, I'll wrap it all up to show you how it all worked out for me and how it worked out for my opponent.
All right, so here we are, and you can see that the double C is out there on the field eyeing up my gatherers, and all of a sudden, as I'm preparing to record a video, my face display, my face cam went away. And so I'm trying to get this face cam back up because I thought, well, that might be useful to talk through. I was planning on talking through what was going on here, but now I'm sort of in a rush trying to get that face cam back up. And where's the face cam? Okay, so here I've got it back up and I need to adjust it, and it's moving a little slowly. And I'm thinking, okay, gotta kind of go because those marches are coming and could be here at any moment. So I've got the face cam up and the game is restarting from scratch, so it's reloading. I'm not just getting right back into the game, so I'm waiting on the game to load. Okay, so now maybe his marches might be on their way to me is what I'm thinking. When I get in the game, they may be already headed my direction. And finally, at long last, the game loads up, and of course it takes me to my city, which is not where I want to be. I want to be out where my marches are. I think I click on the Alexander here, which takes me out to where I want to go. And the game's moving a little slow, and it's rendering really slowly right here, I think in part because I am recording. And I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't be recording this. His marches are on the way. Oh no, they're not on the way. They are here. And they're eyeing up my Kusunoki. So I immediately get my Kusunoki YSG out to start attacking. I send Alexander to attack, and you notice I just missed the target with Alexander, so that's a mistake I'll have to correct here in a second. You'll see the Alexander is actually just standing there and is not actually fighting yet. But I notice it here, and now all four of my marches are hitting that double C Minamoto. The next thing I'm thinking is he's going to start running with that double C Minamoto, and I'm preparing to rage jump, and that's what I'm doing right here. I'm now targeting the Saladin Khan, and notice my rage meters never went down on my marches because I didn't disengage from combat, right? So I switched over to the Saladin Khan, keeping my rage up, and I'm going to do the same thing again here, this time targeting that Belisarius. And so I'm waiting for that Saladin Khan to get usually around the red. I think he's going to run. And so now I'm going to get on the Belisarius. And as soon as I sense that that Saladin Khan is outside of my range, right now I'm still damaging it. It's all good. As soon as I sense it might be getting out of my range, I'm going to, bam, switch over to that Belisarius. Now notice all those rage bars stayed up. It's a really important tactic. And now I'm getting ready to switch back to the double C because I'm pretty sure he's going to run with that Belisarius. And as I hit the switch to the double C, my Kusunoki died, and it was kind of a defect in the game because it screwed up that attack, and so they didn't actually rage jump the way they should have, but that's okay. In any case, you can see that I'm pretty happy here with how this ended up, and I will jump to the battle reports here in a second.
Okay, here we are in the battle reports. Let's take a look and see how we did in that little trap that we set up. So here is the Saladin Baibars against the Double C Minamoto. This was one little shot at the end, not really worth a whole lot, but a 3-to-1 trade there. Here is the Alex Sun Tzu, my premier march so far this KVK, really just dishing out tons and tons of damage. Here we see 1400 to 9500. We see 2,000 to 13,000, and we see 1,700 to 22,000. Alex Sun Tzu just really smashing on the field this KVK. Richard Ethelfled, this was again that little thing right at the end, not really a big deal here, but 5-to-1 on that trade. Here's Saladin Baibars. This was the sort of the big battle. We got 511 to 3,200. We've got 2,500 to 14,000, and we've got 16,000 to 7,335. Now, I should point out that all of these are T5, right? This is all Germany T5 Teutonic Knight special unit troops that are being put into the hospital here. I'll jump over to this Richard Ethelfled. This was the main part of the battle, so we got about 1,300 to 6,600 there. We got about 1,200 to 7,000, and we got about 2,400 to 17,500 on that Saladin Khan. Richard Ethelfled really tearing that one apart. And this was the march that my opponent focused. My opponent was focusing the Kusunoki YSG, which probably makes sense in for lots of reasons for him to focus that march. First of all, it has the Epic Commander as the primary. Second, it has a secondary that is YSG, who does a lot of damage. And if you go back and watch this video again, you'll see that YSG was really doing a ton of AoE damage in those video clips. So here is the Double C Minamoto. Again, this was pretty much an even trade, 11,400 to 11,800, which is pretty good given that this march was being surrounded by 2 other marches and being totally targeted. Here we see the Saladin Khan actually did pretty well, a plus of about 5,400 for the Saladin Khan on my Kusunoki YSG. But here's where it gets interesting. I actually did plus about 3,300 against the Belisarius Baibars with my Kusunoki YSG, and that's mostly going to be from AoE, maybe a little later when I switched over to that target. But all told, that march actually, the Kusunoki YSG, which was being targeted by my opponent, actually took 32,000 about Sev wounds to 30,000 that it dished out. So even this march that was being focused and targeted because of the AoE, and this is what I've been talking about in this KVK, because of the AoE, because of the reasonably decent equipment that I've got on this march, even when this march gets targeted, it still does pretty well from a trade standpoint. So it was targeted and it took 32,000 Sev wounds, but it dished out 30,000 on its own, which just leaves my other marches to run free, doing massive damage, as you saw in those other reports. All told, in these reports, I did the math. I totaled them all up for you. We did about how many Sev wounds? We did about 47. We took about 47,000 T5 Sev wounds on my side, but we dished out 133,000 for my opponent. That is about a 3-to-1 trade, which is pretty dang good when we're talking about T5. All told, it was about a little under 5 million food that it cost me, a little over 13 million wood, about 8.9 million stone, and 7.5 million gold. Whereas my opponent, it cost him 42 million food, 32 million stone, 21 million gold. So about 3-to-1 trade on gold, about a 10-to-1 trade on food, and about a 4-to-1 trade on stone, which is pretty huge, I think, in some respects. Obviously, I had to spend a little more wood. But when we look at the total number of healing hours needed, again, this assumes no buffs, no healing buffs whatsoever. 52 hours of healing for me, and 148 hours of healing for my opponent. So about 3-to-1 in the healing department as well. So overall, this trap worked really, really well. I got to dish out a ton of damage, pick up a ton of T5 kills, and drain my opponent's resources, which is really the name of the game in KVK. Well, that's a wrap on this video, guys. I hope that you learned something. I hope you learned how to deal with those pesky farm killers and how to set just the perfect traps for them. This is one way that I've been trapping farm killers, and it's worked really well for me so far in this KVK. And I hope you can develop your own kinds of traps and learn from the tactics I used here to get those good trades, to discourage that kind of farm killing that really drives everybody crazy. If you like this video, please do hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Rise of Kingdoms content. And leave a comment down below if there's something you want me to talk about in a future video. Thanks so much, everybody, and I'll see you soon.